November 2017, I built my very own backcountry hot tent. I had built a hot tent previously, but it was too heavy to take into the backcountry. The only thing that I hadn't completed on the hot tent was installing a vent just above the stove jack. This fall, before the winter season started, I decided that it was time to install the vent. Here is a video of how I did that. Hope you enjoy it. Alright, so I cut out the vent, just made a nice little triangle, put edges on it, and I've got 3 pieces of velcro underneath the flap here, so that'll hold it down when it's shut, and when it's open, I'm going to put a little stick thing here. I don't know how it's going to work yet exactly, I'll have to wait and see. Alright, so I had the tent set up and I drew a line where I need to cut. I kind of screwed up because I should have cut the hole first and then put the flap over, but I was a little bit too scared to do that. So now I have to kind of carefully cut without cutting the flap that's outside on, it's already sewed to it on the other side. And instead of sewing it, I'm just going to glue gun it. I'm just going to fold it under. So hopefully that works. Alright, well, I cut the hole out, the triangle, and it looks pretty good. I just tucked these 2 edges underneath and glue gunned them. And this one I'm going to sew. Just folded it over and I'm going to sew that. The velcro is here, so this is where it would actually close up. And we'll see how that goes. Alright, well, there's the vent all done. It's actually turned out a little bigger than I wanted it to, but I think it'll do the job nicely. Alright, so when I put the vent in, what happened was this piece here got some major slack. Now, there's really no way for me to tighten it, so there was a couple options. I have chosen one to do to close up the inside, close the vent from the inside so the vent can stay like this all the time, and then if I want to close it on the inside, I'm going to make a piece. So here's what I'm going to do. I've measured and cut a triangle approximately 2.5 inches bigger than the triangle that's on the outside. That way I can fold it over and hem it and still have some play with it. I don't want it to be too small. So I'm going to put the velcro around the outside of the triangle that's currently there that makes the vent outside. And then I'm going to put velcro on the triangle that I just showed you. And that way I can close this right up when I don't want the vent open. And if I want the vent open, I can just rip the triangle off and leave it open, and then got that vent there. And that's going to be right over top of the stove. Alright, so as you can see, I'm not a great cutter. I'm terrible at cutting even, and my scissors are not very sharp. So the seam, like the edges aren't that straight or anything like that. The tent still works. I'm not a professional sewer, as I've said a few times. It doesn't matter to me as long as it works. It's all good. Alright, I have put the seam hem on the triangle. I made it green to add a little flair. It's just a little tiny bit of green. It's not much. Got some fray stuff on there. And now I have pinned the velcro to the edges. Now this is the rough part of the velcro, which is the harder part to sew. And I found 2 packages. I have just enough velcro here. It's so funny because I'm going to town tomorrow and I thought, well, I can always buy some, but I checked it and I have enough, so I figured I might as well do it. So the good thing about it is that only this strip has the sticky back, and that's the part that the sewing machine really doesn't like to sew. It's not too fond of this rough stuff, but this one isn't as rough as the sticky back one. And this one doesn't have the sticky back, so hopefully it will sew nicely. And I have left the softer partner, I don't know, the softer piece of the velcro to sew it in the tent, so it's easier to sew. So I'm gonna attach this using a zigzag stitch on either side of the Velcro, so I'm not actually sewing just straight through it, and hopefully that goes nicely. If this part goes well, then I'm pretty much home. Wow, that went awesome. I just sewed all the Velcro in. It took me like 2 minutes. So now I'm going to take the tent down, and I'll lay this piece over top of where it's going to go, put some masking tape around it, and then pin the Velcro to the tent and sew the inside of the tent so this matches up to it and the vent can close. Alright, so I have the inner flap in place, and I'm going to put tape around it and then take it off so I know where to put the Velcro. It's kind of like tracing it, but I don't want to draw all over the tent. I've already done all that, and it doesn't look very nice when I'm sitting in there, so I thought this would be a nicer way to do it. Alright, so I have pinned the Velcro in place to where it should match up with the Velcro that's already on the other triangle. And I'm gonna get this sucker into the sewing machine somehow and put these on. There's a whole lot of tent smushed up into this sewing machine. It's very hard to sew the inside upper portion of the tent when all the sides are sewn together. I think I'm going to reverse this last piece, and I've just got one more side left, and then I have to do the inside of the edges. So far it's not too bad, but I'm not sure how I'm going to get this last section. Well, the sewing machine was extremely kind to me. I managed to get all the Velcro sewn in quite easily. I only snagged it twice, meaning while I was sewing part of it, another part of the tent got caught inside of it, but I got them both out fairly easily. So I'm going to take the tape off, I'm going to set up the tent, and I'm going to see how nicely this triangle fits. Okay, well, the Velcro's on, the tent is up, and I don't know if I can film this. I guess I'll try. It's kind of hard. It's close quarters, you know. I'll have to put it on and come back. I am very, very, very pleased with this. The triangle is on. It Velcroed on here perfectly. And now there is no more hole where the vent is. And if I need vent, I need to open it up to get some air. And just pull this right down, and there's the vent. I can either leave that hanging, or I can just completely remove it and put it somewhere else for the time being, and then the vent works. Oh, this is great. I'm really happy with this. Okay, so the vent is complete now. Finally. Took me a weekend to kind of do some brainstorming and figure out how to shut it from the inside, but I have. Now you can see it's closed off, and I can just pull that triangle off on the inside, and the vent will be open. And if I get chilly or there's cold air coming in, I can just shut it from the inside, and done.